or an egg that it comes up out of a cup. So when you think maybe there's a chance that this is going to be an Amanita, and you're trying to save the specimen for identification, you should actually dig it up a little bit so you bring the base. All right, this one just has a bulbous base. Therefore, I think this is actually an Amanita flaviconia, which is also called yellow patches. You can see a few remnant patches on the top of it. Usually, in a big, nice specimen, there'll be little yellow warts on the top of it, and that's where it gets its name, yellow patches. One of the other identifying features of many of the Amanitas is this little teeny ring that's around the top. A lot of times that ring will fall off so you don't see it. That ring originally was a covering for the gills. It covered the gills in the very, very young stage, and as it grew, that ring pulls away, that veil pulls away, and it falls down. And in the destroying angel, it's a very flowing skirt-like ring. It's part of where it gets its name because it looks like an angel's veil or something as it pulls away. And also the destroying angel is perfectly white. They don't have speckles, anything else on the top. They come out of a very pronounced cup also, or vulva is what it is. Vulva, like egg. All right, they come out of a very pronounced one. Many of the Amanitas just have, though, a bulbous stem, so it's not an apparent egg or vulva that it comes up out of. They always grow on the ground. They don't grow on wood. All right, they always have, many of them have light-colored gills, but they all have white spore prints, if you're doing a spore print. Many of the, how do you do those? Good question. If you're going to do a spore print, you take a mushroom, a larger one, more mature-looking one. You can even do it with boletes like these guys. This is a bolete. You would take this, cut the stem off, put it on a piece of paper, especially one that you figure is going to be an opposite color of what the spores are going to be. Usually you have like an educated guess of what it's going to be. But even if you pick one that's exactly the same, it doesn't matter. You'll see the deposit. But if you're trying to make a picture, it's nicer to have a contrast. Then you set it down, you put a little bowl over the top of it, and you leave it there for a couple of hours. As it heats or whatever, the spores will drop out. Pull the cap away, and you'll see the color of the spore print.
Oh, okay, it'll stand?
No, you take the stem off. Take the stem off and you lay it down. Yeah.
Because it looked just like that.
Yeah.
They're both edible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, because I wanted to do that to this mushroom anyhow, because for identifying this mushroom, it's going to be necessary to cut it.
But the other one's got a different stem and different...
So what you do is you just take the stem off.
Oh, okay.
Notice when I cut that, there's no staining. That's an important identifying feature for boletes. And you just set it down on a piece of paper. Put a cup over the top of it and leave it there for a few hours. If you put it on a table that you care about, make sure you got wax paper or something underneath because it'll bleed through. And it'll stain your antique walnut table, and your wife will be mad at you for years and years and years. Well, not in your case, it wouldn't be your wife. Well, it would. Who knows? Whatever. Matter of fact, whatever. That's okay. I don't care. Yeah, but no staining. And that's an important identifying feature for many of the boletes because many of these boletes or tubed mushrooms, many of them stain or bruise either the pore surface or the flesh whenever you score it like that. What color it does and how quickly it does are in the books, and that's kind of the identifying features. Now, how do you tell the difference between tubes and pores? This is a polypore. No, this is a gill mushroom. Never mind. No, this is a polypore. This is a polypore. You can see the pores. They're very, 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 very tiny. Very, 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 very tiny. Little holes. Pores. Very, very tiny. All right? But if you look,
they got the leather veil.
Very tiny. If you look at this guy, look at the bottom of this.
If they're nice and firm still,
looks like pores.
Take the pores off.
Very, very, very tiny.
You know, you want to kind of.
All right, all of these are adaptations that mushrooms have done for spore dispersal. These things exist for one purpose and one purpose only, to propagate the species.
No, this is the one.
Because the organism is living out of sight underground, under the roots, under the bark, whatever. So it's out of sight. So mushrooms are adapting. Nature has caused them to adapt to maximize the spore-producing services. That's why there's gilled mushrooms, there's pored mushrooms, there's tube mushrooms, there's toothed mushrooms, and there's morels and other ones that have different structures altogether. Now, how you can tell the difference between a polypore?
So what did you think? That wasn't sub.
Let's see if I can cut into this.
There's a more fresh one of that, I believe, underneath, right next
And
to it.
actually, I really, unless somebody was going to take this and try to do artwork on it? Were you going to take it and try to do artwork on it? Okay.
I don't know what to do with it.
So I could break this,
Yeah,
right?
you can break it.
And
So now this one though.
these are usually pretty woody.
Then which one is it?
There you go.
Oh no, that's.
Now you see the side structure of it?
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Whoops. Here. In fact, you can look at that
I
part.
didn't know.
And here's
I
this
thought you were
part.
talking about that.
You immediately know because of the
Here's the pore surfaces
actually
right
changed
here,
it. It used
and
to
here's
be
the actual
Boletes,
flesh.
But you
If
see
I
how
try
it
to
has
separate
the
those,
scabers?
I play hell's
So
door.
that's why they now.
You could
put
do it
in
with
the
a
same
knife,
group as this.
maybe,
This is polypore.
but it's part, polypores,
The good news
the
is this
pores
one
are
turns
part of
black
the actual structure
when you cook
of
it.
the mushroom,
This
much
one doesn't.
more firmly and
Is that
completely.
the aspen scaber sock?
I don't know which one.
Where'd that?
I don't know which.
No, I'm looking for this guy. Oh, here it is.
There's one that's kind of orange.
Now, when I break this guy, when I break this guy, you can see this, but see the tube surface? I can just peel that right away. And in the case of porcini, if you find fresh Boletes edulis, many of the people, especially the geeks that pick these in Italy and stuff like that, and they say that they're going to eat these, if they're going to eat them fresh, they'd say take the pores
I don't
off.
believe so.
Don't eat the pores because they're too bitter. But if you buy them dried, the pores are always there. They're always there.
These are
And you use
the
them.
aspen.
And,
There's
you know,
two
so
different kinds of, like,
I think maybe it's only something when they're fresh
well, there's two different.
that the pores might taste a little bitter.
Yeah, well, that one will too.
But they find them by the buckets, so you know they can afford to waste some of the product. But all the boletes or all the tubed mushrooms, that's one of the features is that you can separate that. You can pull that. So if you're ever trying to identify or you're ever trying to separate these in classifications, and it's one of the separate, yeah, right, and the flesh doesn't bruise. If this was one of the bruising mushrooms, if I were to do that, it'd bruise some kind of color. There'd be a response to what I just did. It wouldn't be happy with it. And that sort of is the key to give you a little tip off of what chemicals are actually in the mushroom. There's books that'll say mushrooms that have a yellow pore surface that bruise blue immediately, don't eat them. But then, depending if you're in a different part of the country, you eat those. So it's like, it's very difficult when it comes to boletes to apply one rule.
Is that edible?
It possibly is. One of the ways that you would tell is you would take a little taste of it and see if it has a bitter flavor. If it has a little bit of a bitter flavor, being a yellow mushroom, that if you see this now, as time is going on, there's almost a little bluish green cast that's coming.
Yeah.
But so that's staining very slowly. So it probably would be an okay one. But when they stain very, very blue, very, very deeply and quickly, then it's probably not good. Most of the people around here don't do that. But you take a little taste of the flesh, for instance.
You know what it is?
There's no bitterness. There's no astringent, you know, whatever. And in the case of something like the porcini, somebody did have one. It's almost buttery, you know, biscuity.
Is that the one that was at the end there?
Yeah,
that they
one
were,
like it was down there, yeah.
What's that?
They're real pleasant. Then you go, yeah, this is something I probably would eat. This one, maybe not. I don't know, and I'm not really sure exactly which kind of one this is. Because Boletes is one of the mushrooms that I'm really trying to figure out how to identify better. These are scaber stalks. These are Boletes also. Now you notice that these bruise a little brown on the bottom. As time goes on, I think these also get a pinkish cast to them, but I'm not sure. This is a Lexinum. There's a group of Boletes that have scabers or blackened areas on the stems, and it's scaber stalks. So it's a scaber stalk. Lexinum is one of the families within the Boletes. Boletes have Suolus and Lexinums and Talopolis and Gymnopolis and a couple of other different things.
White caps. I mean, they're white on.
I'm going to also cut into this guy.
Not white like this, but you're talking white.
White. I mean, white. No, I never.
This one, this is your knife.
There was quite a few of them. Said, oh,
I'm going to just put it down here.
they're good. So we found
Now,
some of
it
those.
didn't actually do that staining or bruising immediately when I did
Said,
that.
oh yeah, no, they're.
You know, so it's taken some time to do it,
I'd ever had either one, and I said,
but
so what?
same thing. See that?
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
I'm able to peel the pores right away.
How do they compare?
That's the pore surface. That's where all the spores will drop out of those pore
The white
surfaces.
cap one was
Now, what's the purpose of this flesh, do you suppose?
and I mixed them all together.
It's protective, supportive for the pore surface. And the purpose of the stem is to get it up above the grass so that it has a place for those to actually catch the wind and blow.
First time I was down there,
They don't shoot their spores. Whereas morels,
this was when I first joined the club.
out of each one of these little holes, those are spore shooter holes. There's little sacs in there, and it actually shoots them out into the wind. And so that's a different adaptation altogether. That's why it fits in the other category.
We said
So the 5 categories